Guys, it's Miss Archer again. So today is Friday, March the 27th, and you're currently on your screen looking at the agenda for today that we're going to cover. So you guys are going to start out with your do now, which are some review questions focused on yesterday's lesson. We're going to go through slides 9 through 11 in the 502 PowerPoint, and you guys should be completing the green section of your notes. We're going to do together the 502 Risk Match-Up Worksheet, and then I'm going to leave you guys to the 502 Factors Affecting Business Worksheet, also on the same document. And then once everything is all wrapped up, you do have your exit ticket review questions focused on today's assignment. Couple of reminders and FYI, this afternoon at 3 p.m. I am going to be hosting the Zoom check-in, and this is just a weekly thing that I'm going to start while we're out to check and see how you guys are doing. If there's any questions about the assignments that you guys may need to get clarification on, or anything new that I can help you guys out with, I would definitely be addressing it in the Zoom check-in. Times may vary from week to week depending on what times you guys are available, and then also what time I'm available. So just make sure that you're staying on top of the Google Classroom and the remind in your emails. April 9th through April 17th is our spring break, so there will not be any items posted here. I do apologize. On the reminder, it has April 9th, so we're hoping for April 8th to be the 5.0 post test. So again, at the bottom, you see Mr. Moore's contact information with his remind. You see my contact information with my Google Voice and remind also. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so 502, again, you guys should be looking at slides 9 through 11, and it is the green section. And today in this particular PowerPoint, we are looking at risk. So we're kind of in the middle of risk and everything right now with the COVID virus. So this will be a little bit easier to describe, especially when we start talking about the different types of risk. So first and foremost, what is a risk? So a risk is just the possibility of a financial loss. So of course, when we're talking about it in business, it's all about money. So there's actually a department that handles that, and they're called the risk management. So what they are doing, they are making sure that they are containing and limiting a business's exposure to risk but making sure that you're still having meeting business goals. So a business risk, again, is just the possibility of losing money or losing success because of certain business conditions. So you have a pure risk. So all businesses face the possibility of loss. But then they also have these different type of risks. So economic risk. This is the resulting change in business conditions. So as of right now, we're looking at the fact that our stock market is dropping. People are laid off. You're looking at economic risk because we can't go out and we can't spend the money. Things are not open. Bowling alleys are not open. Movie theaters, that type of thing. So a lot of these businesses are experiencing an economic risk. Natural risk thinks of things like floods, hurricanes, earthquakes, tornadoes, fires, those type of things. So we think about the fires over in California that we recently had. Most of you guys are not old enough to remember when Hurricane Florence came through and we had the flood. So all behind the hospital was completely flooded out. People lost their homes. The tornado in Bertie County, these are natural risks. Then you have human risk. So for the people that have sticky fingers that go into stores and they take things without purchasing them or get the 5-finger discount, this is a human risk because people go in the store and they steal it. Or if you work somewhere and you don't count out your change properly to somebody and you give them too much money back. These are all different types of human risk. And they might not be intentional, especially when you're doing like giving the wrong amount of change back, but it's a type of human risk. Speculative risk, these are things that may result in no loss, no gain. Like they said, so buying new machinery, constructing a new business, you really don't know how it's going to do until you go out there. You can just take a chance and just do it and see how it works. The Dollar General in Powellsville, did not realize they had one there. They took a risk by building it there. They weren't sure if they were going to make money or lose money. They just figured that, hey, they need a business out there, so let's put it in between here and there. So they took a speculative risk. I guarantees we see this when we purchase something. They say money back guarantee because we know that you're going to be completely satisfied with what what the product or service that you have. So this is a guarantee. A warranty is something you see like on your cars, on your cell phones, on different types of things, to make sure that if it breaks or if it's damaged within a certain period of time, that the company itself will replace it and fix it. Okay, so now we have some different types of dealing with risk reduction. So of course we're looking at making sure that the work areas are clear of anything that may cause accidents or fires, educating your employees. So we talked about in Objective 4 about hazards and different things like that, and employee training was a big one. So of course they want to make sure that the employees are properly trained and using safety equipment the way they're supposed to. Checking to make sure that equipment is serviced properly. When I worked at Purdue Farms, we always had our machines were always inspected in a 30-day time frame to make sure that they were up to date and up to code. They always came in and they checked stuff. Stress the limits of your company's products. Make sure that people are not overusing your products or your services outside of what they're used for. Everything has a shelf life, so people need to be educated on just how long something has, because at some point in time there's an expiration date on something, and when that happens, it normally isn't no more good. Waste and reduce shoplifting. So I managed Dollar Generals here in the area for 4.5 years, and we put in all different types of security features and magnetic strips and sections on the shopping shelves and everything like that to reduce shoplifting. And then employee theft. It's always very hard to do that, especially when you're managing a large group of people. You have to make sure that the employees are not stealing money out the register, not stealing merchandise off the floor. It's always a hard thing to do. And then also ways to reduce robbery. Unfortunately, one of my stores were robbed while I was managing them, and it was as simple as my manager didn't do her nightly walkthrough like she should have. So ways to reduce the robbery, making sure that you're checking your blind spots in your areas and doing your walkthroughs and stuff like that. So control risk. So you look at things. These are risks that cannot be avoided, prevented, or controlled. They just happen. So employee incompetence. That means that you're always going to have that person that screws up. You may not get the right product. Somebody's credit might not be good. The weather may change. So all this takes into effect what you're looking at. Retaining risk. So this is assurance against the loss. So these are things like insurance. Of course, that makes sense, to making sure that you know that risk is going to happen. So you're taking steps in order to make sure that you don't get hit as hard. So some of this involves looking at having risk, underestimating the risk, feels that the risk is small, or things of that nature. So retaining risk is all about how you're going to work this out and make sure things are going the way that you want them to, and that your business is being taken care of just in case something does happen. And then some methods of dealing with risk. So transfer risk. This goes more into your insurance, your property, your real estate, your business, casualty insurance, just in case you have different types of lawsuits and stuff like that, errors, omissions, product liability, fidelity bonds. We get more into that's more of a financial piece. Performance, incentive for your employees that do well on their jobs. You want to reward them for that. And then workers' compensation in the event that someone gets hurt on the job. Always have an emergency plan in place, and then avoiding risk. Some ways to avoid a risk: if you know that a part of town that you want to open a store in is known for crime, then don't open your store there. If you know that a new product might not do so well in the store, don't put it in that store. If you know that business isn't booming that well, then you don't want to expand overseas. So these are all some different ways to look at how to avoid the risk in the long run. All right, so take a minute and complete your notes. And then we're going to move on to the 502 risk worksheets. So almost finished. We have one more day of notes. 12 through 16 will be on Monday. Okay, and then of course, once you finish all of your notes, put them in there. I'll get them graded to you. So 502, and you have your due now, which is here. You have your due now activity there. Real simple, one question. And then you have the exit ticket. A couple of questions there. So make sure you get those answered. All right, so we're looking at the 502 risk worksheets, and it's 2 worksheets in one. So the top part is what we're going to work on together, which is the risk matchup. And then the bottom part is what you're going to be doing on your own. So let me explain this portion real quick. The factors affecting business risk, you're going to go back to that PowerPoint and tell me whether it is an economic, which means it is something dealing with the government and the world around you. Human, which means is it me, you, somebody else working there, or natural, floods, hurricanes, tornadoes, fire, that type of thing. You're going to tell me it's 1 through 10, that type of risk. And then in the same activity, 1 through 10, you're going to tell me, is this an avoidance? Is this a reduction? Is this a transfer? Is it a retention? So that's the last slide I just went over. So 9 and 10 would kind of focus on this particular. Slides 9 through 10 will focus on the first 10. And then 10 and 11 will focus on the last 10 that you have here for this one. But that's neither here nor there, so let's backtrack and go to here. So we have A through L. A is operational, B is pure, C is avoiding risk, D is obsolete, E is transferring, F is speculative, G is financial, H is strategic, I is retaining, J is competition, K is hazard, L is preventing or controlling. So of course we have different questions that we're going to answer here. And so let's get started. So 1 is tornadoes, earthquakes, and blizzards. This is K. These are hazard risk. These are things that happen and we can't control. Yes, it is a natural risk, but that is not one of our answer choices here. 2, the possibility of loss, no change, or gain. This is F, speculative risk. Number 3, shifting to another person or business. This is E, you're transferring the risk. And all this is just referring back to the PowerPoint. For inflation and interest rate fluctuation, this is going to be G, your financial risk. So inflation is part of finances. Number 5, you are keeping away from. So this is C, you're avoiding risk. Number 6, keeping to oneself. This is I, retaining risk. You're making sure that you're not taking any actions to become affected. Number 7, the possibility of loss or no loss. This is B, a pure risk. Number 8, human errors. This is A, operational risk, because we are the ones controlling stuff. Number 9, taking action to reduce is L, you are preventing or controlling the risk. Number 10, reputation damage. This is H, strategic risk. Number 11, fading away over time is D, obsolescence or obsolete. That means something is no longer relevant. And then number 12, the rivalry for the sale of goods or services is J, competition. Oh, I think it's not. So these terms are coming from the PowerPoint and that we just did, and some of them you can actually Google. All of them except for obsolescence is actually coming from the PowerPoint. Again, you guys are going to be doing 502 factors affecting business risk. The top part, you're going to tell me whether the different scenarios in the first 1 through 10 are economic, human, or natural risk. And then in the bottom 1 through 10, you're going to tell me whether it is an avoidance, a reduction, transfer, or retention of risk. So this is going to be slides 11. And then the first 1 through 10 here are going to be 9 and 10. So I hope you guys are staying safe. I know Bertie County, for those that stay in that little gray area of Bertie County, you guys are going into stay-at-home orders on Monday. So if that changes for Hereford County right now, we don't have a stay-at-home order. I will definitely let you guys know. I hope to talk and see some of you guys this afternoon at 3 p.m. on the Zoom meeting. Emails were sent out to both of my classes, so I'm going to have my Principles of Business and Entrepreneurship class in at the same time. I hope you guys do take advantage of these weekly check-ins, because this is really the only time I can actually physically see you guys. We're going on 2 weeks of not seeing you. So I hope you guys are staying safe, you guys are staying well, and I look forward to seeing you this afternoon. You guys take care, be safe, and I will talk with you later.